We don't condone the use of any illegal substance or any illegal activity. This video is intended for instructional and educational purpose only. Watch at your own risk. Viewer discretion is advised.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
In the garden with a green leaf sway, sea bunnies rolling up, we light it all way. Mr. Guinness got the bombs, we puffin' all night. Talking cultivation, yeah, we're feeling alright. Light it up, feel the vibe, let it be known. Garden cultivation, network, we on the scene. Rolling that green, living out the dream. Chatting about the strains, how to plan it right. Join us every week, yeah, we light up the night. Wednesday to Friday, we keep it alive. Cannabis talks, everybody's feeling high. Sharing secrets of the grow, it's a sacred art. In this cultivation game, you gotta play your part. Keep it real, keep it tight, watch the plants grow. Garden cultivation, network, we on the scene. Rolling that green, living out the dream. Chatting about the strains, how to plan it right. Join us every week, yeah, we light up the night.
What's up? Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. It's a rainy Wednesday, but it's a happy Wednesday.
We're supposed to get rain tonight. I'm kind of hoping we do.
Yeah. I got those I got a maple tree right outside my door. So I have
Yeah?
all those little maple keys everywhere. They're just falling down. I come in the house, I bring in like 10,000 of them with me, stuck to my shoes because it's wet outside. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
But it's
What
spring.
was I gonna say? So yeah, we're almost at Friday, which is great because Friday is Show Your Grows. So if you come on Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern, you could come show your grow. Wednesdays are our interviews. Last week we had CC 420. So if you missed that episode, you could go back. You could also go over on Spotify under Garden Cultivation Network.
Yes.
That was a great
And
interview. She was a lot of fun.
she was. She's the autoflower queen. We've been
She
calling her that
is.
for a while. Oh yeah.
Also, shout out to Ogo Grown. We both got a package today, so stay tuned for that over on Instagram. But yes, this is a
Yes.
preview. And I gotta say, their sweaters are so comfy. And they're also doing a giveaway. So don't miss that. Go over on their Instagram under Ogo Grown and get into the giveaway.
Figured out what I'm gonna use those big training clips for. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna bend that maple tree over and I'm gonna hold it with those clips. Keep it away from
They're
the
big
damn
enough.
road. I know. Yeah, those things are beasts.
I'm excited to try them on the outdoors. I'm gonna try training one this year. Normally, I don't train at all outdoors,
Yeah,
so
those would be perfect
it's gonna
for the
be
outdoor
interesting.
plants. Those would be
Yeah.
perfect for that because your plants get huge. So I mean, they're big. So you can bend trees over with those things.
Yes, we
Oh
can.
yeah. And don't forget about the merch store. We just dropped. Bunny
Yes.
just spent all kinds of time over on there making new stuff. And Mr. L Connoisseur, Mr. L Can of Content, he's been making graphics and stuff for us. And we definitely have some cool designs on that site now. So definitely check that out. On Friday, we'll give you guys a little preview of it if you haven't seen it already. And what else? What else we got?
We have our 1,000 subscriber
Ooh,
giveaway, and we're coming really, really close. We've gone over 800 now. So thank you everybody for sharing, subscribing, liking, all that fun stuff.
yes.
What happens when we reach 1,000?
Well, we are going to be doing a big giveaway we've got some pretty cool companies on board, and they are shipping in some good prizes for us. So we will do, once we hit that 1,000, it might not happen right away because it's going to take a minute to kind of get everything set up. But as close to the 1,000 as we can, we are going to do a live on a Friday night, and we are going to be doing giveaways all night long. And that'll be
Yes.
our 1,000 celebration, give back to the community as a huge thank you for all the support and love from everybody. And that'll be our contribution back for, you know, being there for us and helping us do what we're doing and being here twice a week with us, because we deeply appreciate it. I was gonna say desperately appreciate it, but not desperately.
We're not desperately.
Deeply appreciate it.
We do
But
deeply appreciate it.
yeah. Shout out to the mod squad in there taking care of the chat, making sure everything is good. And yeah. Pitch it. Yes, yes. So yeah. You got anything else or
No, I think we've been through everything. We are over on Instagram under Garden Cultivation Network, Sea Bunny Grows 2, and Mr. underscore Organics.
Mr. underscore Organics might not be there much longer. I've
Yeah,
lost
you've
5
been
posts
getting,
like overnight. It's crazy. They won't let me
yeah.
go live on Instagram anymore. They took away my chat for 3 days, which I got that back. But
Which reminds me also, if you guys missed it, Mr. Organics was on the Grambo show
hmm,
on, is it Sunday or Monday?
on
I always
Sunday.
forget.
Sunday night.
On Sunday. So if you missed that, you could go over to the Grambo show and watch his episode. It was pretty cool.
Grambo grows, and it would be his last live. Or it'd be his second last live because he does a members live right after. So his second last live on there right now would be me, an hour with me.
Yeah, so go raid the chat and type GCN.
Yes, yes. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Grambo's fun. He's
Yes.
funny. So
And
are
speaking
we?
of fun, we have a great guest this week. We
We do.
have, who do we have, Ganix? Dun dun
We have.
dun.
We got the Fresh Princess, and I hope you guys are ready.
Happy
Hello, hello.
Wednesday.
What's up, guys? How are you doing?
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm so good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Awesome. Yeah,
We're
and not a
excited
problem at
to
all.
have you.
So, what's up? How you guys been doing?
Been doing all right. We've been doing all right. You look like you've been super busy in the garden.
Oh man, busy
Yes.
is an understatement. I've definitely been busy for sure. I don't know if you've been tuning into my lives, but always something to do in the grow tent.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So for those who don't know, you got a few people in here who know you, but for those who don't, can you give a little introduction on who you are, what you do?
Yeah, so my name is Natalie for you guys that are new here or that don't know me. And I am a indoor gardener and I grow my own food. I have
That's
a
awesome.
indoor grow space where I kind of learn everything about the world of aeroponics and I'm trying to just explore that journey and share it with the good people of the grow community and just have fun with my journey and grow some good food, unlike
Yeah,
what's in the grocery store, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, for
absolutely.
sure. For
So
sure.
Absolutely. And for
I'm
for the people that don't know, Like you're doing your indoor garden indoor, or obviously indoors, but let everybody know how big this tent is that you're working with here.
Yeah, so it's quite the large grow space. It's a 200 square foot grow tent, so it's a mylar grow tent, and yeah, 20 by 10.
That's
That's crazy.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah, so
That
I got
That's
a
is.
huge.
lot. I got a lot in there, and I could probably fit more, but it's definitely a space where I can do a lot and learn a lot. So go big or go home, you know?
Absolutely.
Yep.
So you talked about you're doing aeroponics.
Yeah.
Have you always done aeroponics?
So I am probably a unique story in the sense that I've never really gardened before. I have in the past here and there, but just outdoor in a pot with soil. The whole aeroponic thing came to life more just because of the climate we're in. The summer
Yeah.
months
Yeah.
are so short that what are the most innovative and progressive ways of gardening indoors and efficient ways? And you know, I get a lot of hate because people hate on aeroponics or hydroponics, but it's pretty cool, and I definitely enjoy learning it.
I think people probably
That's
hate because
awesome.
they're scared of it. And
Yeah,
they don't know, they don't understand it. Like Bunny and I were talking about doing some hydroponic or some aeroponics or something like that, but like I've always grown in pro mix, and same with Bunny, and like
Yes.
I'm terrified to dive into the whole hydroponics thing. It just seems like so much room for error, you know what I mean? But
totally. See, I was the opposite where when it came time to having a summer garden last summer, it was my first actual, not huge, but it was a large outdoor garden, and I was concerned that it was going to be more of a learning curve than the aeroponics. I find it actually quite, once you wrap your head around it, it's pretty simple, you know. Have you guys ever tried any aero or hydroponic?
no, the
No.
closest thing I've ever done is clones in like a cloning station,
Right.
which it was like an aeroponic
Yeah.
cloner.
Yeah.
So I guess I've done a little bit, but I wasn't adding nutrients. I wasn't really doing anything other than like a cloning hormone or solution. That's it.
Yeah, so just
So
water, just yeah,
yep.
that's what I use. When I clone my cuttings, I just stick it in the grow tower and it clones. So it's just water and obviously a little bit of
That's
nutrients. But
that's crazy.
What kind of nutrients do you use?
I use so far. I've been strictly using general hydroponics, the Flora series. They so far it's been good and effective for me. It's
Nice.
pretty balanced, so your pH is always good, and it's pretty simple to use if you're kind of like a beginner grower. But I've been looking
Yeah.
into getting into organic fertilizers, you know, powdered ones that are water soluble. So can explore that and see how that goes for me.
Green Rush has a
Nice.
really good water soluble organic nutrient.
Oh,
And
cool.
they're also local to us. They're Ontario based as well. So
Oh, nice. I'm gonna be trying. So I got some products from. I don't know if you guys have heard of Symbis Organics.
no, I don't think
They
so.
have
No.
they're based out of California, but they have an organic fertilizer line. So I figured, you know what, I'll try it. It's all like natural, well, obviously organic, but it's all, you know,
Yeah,
like chicken manure and worm castings and but we'll see.
nice.
Maybe my plants will like it, you know.
Yeah, that's cool.
Only one way to find out.
Yeah, what about you guys? Are you guys for soil, is it the same thing, liquid fertilizer or
Yeah, so I've always used like Gaia Green dry amendments. I've done the Green Rush as well, and I really like them, but I loved the dry amendments, just top dressing your soil.
yeah.
And then I got into Hygrozyme, came along, and I started using the Hygrozyme line, which is mostly organic. And then they came out with an actual nutrient line,
Oh yeah,
which
I've
isn't
seen their line.
which
Yeah.
isn't organic,
Yeah.
but it's kind of a synganic thing
Cool.
that I'm doing now. And I
I
think
use
Bunny was doing the same thing this past run as well, I
Mostly,
think.
mostly liquid. I did do the Green Planet hoarding line, the last two grows before, and but most of the time, yeah, I just use liquid.
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've used High Clean from Hygrozyme. I use it in my system.
Yes.
Supposed to be
Yes,
good for removing any of that, like additional hard water or salts or anything
yes.
Yeah.
like that.
Any of the mineral buildup and all that.
Yeah, I mean, I use distilled
Yeah.
water, so really the mineral buildup only comes from the nutrients that I use, but
Right.
it's supposed to be effective. So far I haven't had any issues, so I think it
Yeah.
works.
You probably benefit from like their, maybe not necessarily their A and B nutrients, but their other stuff because it's microbes, liquid enzymes.
Yeah. I kind of want
So,
to do A and B testing. I've got 3 towers, start all the
yep.
same
Yeah,
seed, and do 3 different lines from 3 different brands in every tower, and just get
that would
everything
be cool.
out at the same time and just kind of do a test, right?
That would be
But it'll
cool.
never be truly accurate because the towers are different colors. I wonder if it would affect
Right.
the growth.
I wonder actually. I don't know. Like, I
That's a
wonder if
good
there's like
question.
more light that gets through or something. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
you would think maybe with the yellow because it's a lighter color. Um,
Yeah,
well, I don't know. It'll be interesting to
yeah,
see. That's something I'll definitely have to consider and try for sure. It'd be
yeah,
cool.
definitely.
I tried
Um,
a lot of
who
experiments.
makes those? Who makes those towers?
Well, actually, I do. Well, not I do, but I work with a manufacturer to have them made overseas. It was already like
oh,
a design that exists, but we kind of
yeah,
Right.
perfected it and modified it to make it something that would be representative of me. I like fun and
Cool.
color and I want to make it because I'm sharing the journey, I want to make it digestible for people too, right? And so the
Yeah,
yes,
colors and stuff, it's like, whoa, what's that? Even if you're not into growing, it's just cool to look at.
it
it is.
is.
Like
It is.
Transformers or
It's
something. So
so are these for sale or are they going to be for sale?
yeah, so I've got the ones that are in my tent now, they're quite large. They're 10 layers, 8 plant ports per layer. So you can grow 80 plants
Oh,
at once. And I have two
wow.
of them that are full right now. So it's a lot. But yeah, so I sell those ones on my website. I've just got a small inventory of those. Those are the original design, but they aren't accessible for everybody because not everyone has the space, for that size or that height. I
Yeah.
get a lot of messages from people that are like, I'm short
Yeah.
and I don't want to have to get
Right.
up on a ladder. Do you have anything smaller? So something for sure is bringing something more mini or accessible, if you will. So coming down the pipeline eventually, but right now on
Nice.
the website, freshprincess.ca is where you can check out those towers, and we'll have a lot more fun
Nice.
stuff coming up on there. But for now,
That's
that's it.
cool.
I just wanted to be able to share it with people. It's a
Yeah,
cool way to grow for sure.
absolutely. Like, so let everybody know too where they can see some of this stuff. Like, you're live every day at noon
Yeah,
Eastern, 12 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, I try to commit to going live on YouTube. So it's just The Fresh Princess on YouTube. I try to go live every day at noon. It's kind of my lunchtime tent chore hour. And I typically take, depending on what I need to do, I typically take an hour and a half, and I just hop on a live, do what I got to do. And if
Nice.
I have nothing to do, then we do like an experiment or something and just kind of hang out and have fun. And I hang out with the community.
Nice.
It's like I have company while I'm doing work in the tent. It's cool.
Well, it's a good way
I
to
love
do
that.
it too,
That's
because then
awesome.
it almost forces you. Because there's some days, like even myself, like I love being in the garden, but then there's some days where I'm just like, oh, I don't want to go water all my plants right now. I don't want to
Yeah.
go in there and lollipop and train everything and defoliate. I don't want to do all that right now. But if you're committed to doing a live every day at a certain time, it almost forces you to have to do it. So it helps your garden kind of stay on point, I think.
It holds me accountable for sure because
Yeah.
even being my presence on Instagram, I feel like I'm telling a story about my aeroponic journey, and so
Yeah.
every video has to go up in chronological order, and every YouTube live has to coincide with those. So it's kind of
Yeah.
there's a lot that goes into it because I'm trying to tell a story so that people can learn. I don't
Yeah.
want people to feel like I make it look easy. So on the live, I show like, yeah, I have root rot, or yeah, I killed these plants yesterday, or
Yeah.
just try to
Yeah.
show it all because we all do it. Like, I was saying
Absolutely.
to Bunny recently that I commented on one of your posts, like it's all about how you
Yes.
come back from those challenges, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So actually bring it back to my post, IPM. Do you do any IPM yourself? And if
Um,
so, what do you use?
so I don't really use much. I have like things like Pure Crop or Lost Coast Plant Therapy that I don't really
Which is great.
implement unless I have to. I try not to spray
Yeah.
on my plants. So
Yeah.
really the only IPM is sticky traps just in case because I have a lemon seedling. So, sometimes I overwater and I get fungus gnats. But other than that,
I hate those.
yeah, other than that, for pest management, it's just be super clean in the tent, change my clothes all the time. Make sure I zip it up right away as soon as I get in there. And, I just try
Yeah,
to
because your
keep,
room's way big enough to be able to walk in. It's not like
yeah,
a little 4x4.
yeah, I just have to be super careful, right? I have fans, like oscillating fans blowing on the plants just to make sure they don't get PM. And I try to, have good air circulation and stuff like that. But other than that, the main thing I've learned is don't bring anything from outside inside because that's how I got thrips. And so
Yeah.
then I was,
And that's how I learned too.
yeah. And then anything you try after that, it's like at that point, everything's destroyed. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
throw in the towel
Yeah.
sometimes.
It's definitely hard to recover from that when you don't want to get rid of your plants or you're not at the end of your plants, if
Yeah.
you're trying to save everything and you're trying to kill the problem, whatever thrips, aphids, russet mites, whatever, spider mites, anything, it could be anything. It's so hard to kill everything off and your plants still look healthy and fresh and Bunny
Yeah.
was lucky
Yeah.
because she was at the end of her run already, so
Yeah. So it's okay it softens the blow. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
you got the full experience, but
yeah.
honestly, it really sucks. It really, really sucks when that happens. I had it happen my first grow. I had just started learning how to garden. It was like my first time using these systems, and I had 80 pepper plants, something close to that, and I had to throw them all out. I had to get rid of everything.
Oh, that
All because I
sucks.
brought strawberries from outside into the grow tower.
Mm.
Uh, that's it. The rest
And
was,
that's what happened.
yeah.
So so you start everything from seed then?
I start everything from seed. Yeah. I've
That's
tried
awesome.
to
Nice.
take cuttings obviously from outside, and that didn't work out too well for me. So
Yeah.
yeah, but it's
What
not
would
easy sometimes. You gotta stay on top of it.
what would you
Yeah.
say is your germination process? Do you have a special tool or is it just water, paper towel? What
Yeah,
does
I
that look like?
play around with so many different methods. I have these polyurethane sponges that I predominantly use. They're pretty good. They look like the rock wool cubes, except they're polyurethane. I've never used rock wool. I get a lot of questions as to why. It's just because I'm
Yeah.
growing food. I've read a lot about like, I don't know, the little particles and stuff can be pretty sharp. And I try because where I am, there's a lot of hard water. So I don't want to have to wash my produce. So I try to
Yeah.
stay away from things like rock wool. I use the paper towel method also to germinate. Um, but that's a lot of what I do on my lives. I experiment, right? So I do the same
Yeah.
seed in paper towel and in a sponge just to see which one is going to be more effective. And it just depends. It depends on the seed. But so
Yeah.
I use various tools, but either paper towel or sponges really. I've
Nice.
got
Yeah, if you're looking for different germination methods, the can is also a great tool to have. Oh, there was a bit of water in there.
oh cool. What is that?
So when you open it up, it's got, oh, I forget how many, 8 or 9 different slots for your seeds.
Very
So you
cool.
could have 9 different strains or different seeds in one little container, which is great because I used to use shot glasses. So I'd have like 8, 9 shot glasses and then try to keep that away from kids. That's
Yeah.
fun. Where this, it's like sealed. I could put a lot in.
Oh,
It's just
wow.
what do they call that, Ganix? The wow factor?
The wow factor:
Yeah,
water,
I just
oxygen,
said
and
wow.
warmth. Yeah,
Water, oxygen, and yeah.
Very
warmth.
cool. I'll have to give
Yeah, so
those.
it does your soak and it does your germination all at the same time. So you can soak them for 12 hours, 24 hours, whatever you want. Empty most of the water out and you leave a little bit in the bottom. There's little feet on it. So then it just sits on the white pad. It's kind of like a paper towel. It almost looks like a coffee filter, like a flat
Yeah.
coffee filter. And
Oh,
then they germinate from the humidity in there. So
that's so cool. That's actually what I probably need because I always have a challenge with overwatering or underwatering. Some days
Oh,
I
that's me.
forget to spray the paper
yeah.
towel and then I come in and everything's dried up and crispy. So, that's
Well,
what
and
happens when you overwhelm
I
your
don't know how you keep that many straight. Like when you got one tower is 80 plants, so you got at least 80 seeds for one tower, if not more, because
Yeah,
sometimes they don't germinate. So you
it's
tend to do a
so
few more,
much.
few extras.
I know it's
So
a lot. And sometimes, on the lives, I look at what's sprouted and then we transplant it into the tower. And because I've been doing it every day, it all kind of becomes a blur. So sometimes in the morning, I walk into the tent and I'm like, I don't remember planting this or filling the tower. What the heck? But
yeah,
yeah, like both towers are completely full. So time
that's
to set
crazy.
up the next system and try some new stuff. We're gonna
That's
try
Nice.
awesome.
beets and corn next
Ooh,
Nice.
and see how that works
Nice.
in
that'll
the
be cool.
aquaponics system.
Of all the
That'll
things
be
that you
cool.
have grown so far, what would you say has been your favorite and your least favorite to grow?
Oh man, there's so many. I love it all. I mean, I love the tomatoes. They're so good. These days when you go to the store and you buy tomatoes, they're never
It's not the
good.
same.
Horrible.
They're either
No.
mush inside or if they're underripe, then they just taste like nothing. So
Yeah.
that's to be able to get that sweetness and that tomato taste. So that's probably my favorite. And my least favorite, I mean, I don't want to jinx it because they're finally growing, but my least favorite is cucumber. I keep trying and I keep failing, and no, it's supposed to be the easiest to grow, and for whatever reason, I just can't figure it out. I know they have to be hand pollinated, and I think that's the challenge. So I don't know
Hmm,
how it is with
interesting.
cannabis. If you don't have to do anything with pollination, right?
Yeah.
With cannabis,
Hmm.
only if you're breeding, like if you're trying to make seeds, then you would have
Yeah.
to. But if you
Most of
we're
us don't
we're
want
we're
that.
sticking strictly to female plants. There's no boys allowed in our tents.
Right. Yeah.
That's right.
So um so yeah, we what the like with what we do, there's no pollinating or anything. Sometimes it happens by accident, but that's
Yeah.
another that's another issue.
That's
It's
a
a
whoopsie.
task for sure. It's a lot to stay on top of. I have a whole new appreciation for bees. I always say it now because it's a lot. And then like with cucumbers, I was reading the other day that the because you have to take the pollen from the male flower and transfer it to the female flower, and the female flower apparently only stays open for 4 hours, like a
Oh,
4 hour
Really?
wow.
window. And if you don't pollinate it,
That's
the
interesting.
cucumber shrivels up and dies. So it's
Hmm.
like
Huh,
the fruit is dependent on the bees. They're so
yeah.
important.
Which makes
I've
sense
always
because
done
I
cucumbers
grew,
out. Go
I was
ahead.
gonna say, last year I grew cucumbers for the first time outdoors, and it would make sense because I always have bees around, and
Yeah, they're
yeah,
probably super
they were
successful.
really good.
Yeah, I never really thought about it because I've only ever grown them outside, and I never had to do anything to them other than plant them and take
Yeah,
care of them. But
there's
with
so
you
much.
being inside, I guess you would have to be the bee.
I know there's so much. Well, I've tried different methods like Q-tip, paintbrush, toothbrush. Now I'm on an electric toothbrush. I'm trying to let the battery
I
die a
did
little
see that
bit.
actually.
Yeah. If the battery kind of drains, then it'll be like a nice slow buzz like a bee, right? So I'm trying to
Right.
simulate it for
Yeah.
the plants, but it's a lot to stay on top of. Like I've even grown plants where you have to have more than one to cross pollinate, and if you don't get fruit. So
Yeah.
stupid me took a cutting of the first one and thought that that would work, but because they're the same, obviously, because it's from the mother plant, didn't
Yeah.
work. So
Yeah.
it was just a waste of a run. And there's a lot that goes into it when you're growing food. You know, I have an appreciation for farmers too.
Oh,
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
bet. Yes.
Yeah, it's
Sure,
pretty
the same.
crazy too because there's so many different varieties of food to grow. And I'm sure some of them are similar, but I'm sure there's also other ones that are completely different. Like sometimes you only need one plant, sometimes you need two, sometimes you have to pollinate, sometimes you don't have to do anything. You just kind of watch them grow.
Well, it's the same thing
So,
with cannabis, right? In order for it to flower, I'm kind of learning, but in order for it to flower, you can only have like the female plants isolated, right? You can't.
yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot that
Yeah.
goes to it as well, right? You just have to once
Change the
you know.
light cycle, change the light cycle and stuff. Like, do you have to change light cycles or anything like that for vegetables?
Yeah, I do, depending on their growth stage. So when they're seedlings, for like the first 8 to 10-ish weeks, well, it depends, right? I watch them, but at a certain point,
Yeah.
I change them from 12-12 to 14-10. And
Okay.
then, yeah, and then that's pretty much it. I don't really switch the lights other than that. What about for
Yeah.
you guys? How do you guys, how does it work?
So for cannabis, if you're growing um just a regular seed, you would run it on like a 18 and 6 hour for the veg stage. And then for when you want to flip it into flower, then you have to switch it to that 12-12 cycle,
Oh,
which
cool.
makes the plant think, it's coming up on the end of the summer. The days are getting shorter. The season's
Oh,
coming to an end. It's time to flower and be all I can be before the end of the year gets here. Before the end of my life gets here, basically.
yeah. Do you
So,
guys simulate like a sunset or a sunrise in your grow tent?
um,
We
I don't.
don't, but some people do.
Yeah, I've heard some.
Yeah,
I don't, but I've heard some people do, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I could try
I don't
that.
think I have the option to do that on my light. Like some lights actually have it built right in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for the one tent that I have, I actually did go from I was doing a 20 and 4 light cycle, so 20 hours on, 4 hours off.
Whoa, that's a
And then
lot.
when I wanted to go, it is a lot of light. But when I wanted to go into the flower stage, instead of just going from 20 hours on to 12 hours on, I started cutting it back an hour every day or 2 hours every day, just until I got down to the 12-12. So it was more like
Gradual.
summer days kind of
Wow, what a
coming to
vast.
an end.
That's such a difference from
Mhm.
24 to 12-12. Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
I try. I just honestly, I really just look online. I haven't played around too much with the lighting schedules. My first grow, I just did 12-12. I think the whole time I didn't even change it. It was funny. The first grow, I didn't know anything, and I just did whatever, and it was like the best grow I've had so far. I didn't check my pH. I wasn't using
Yeah.
CalMag. I wasn't using lighting schedules or fans or
I
anything.
think I think with whatever it is we grow, and it doesn't really matter, but I think we tend to overcomplicate things. As we learn more
Yes.
information and more knowledge, I think we make it so much harder on ourselves the farther into this we get. Sometimes there's been a few times where I've been like, you know what? I'm going back to the basics. I'm going back to day one again. I'm starting over because I've just overcomplicated this so much and I've got so many things going on. I just need to just put all this over to the side and start over and just right back to square one again. I've had to do that a couple times.
Yeah,
So
I totally agree with that. That is very true. Less is more.
yeah, it truly is.
Yes.
Yeah, it really, really is. Um, Have you found yourself doing that over time? Like from when you first started doing this, have you added anything or taken anything away or like gotten to the point where you just kind of stop and look at everything and go, wow, I've made this really complicated. Like,
Um,
is that ever,
yeah, I mean, every day I look at it and I'm like, wow, I made it really complicated. Even when I watch back some of my videos of like transferring these seedlings and into the foam collar and then into the tower, it's like it'd be much easier to just, start the seed there and just leave it there and not have to. But yeah,
yeah,
or even, I don't know, with like changes that I make with the lighting schedules or the fans, sometimes I'm like, just chill, stop moving around the fans, just leave it, stop complicating it. I definitely do that. And I think that's why my first grow, I was so much more successful because I also didn't overthink it, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Now
They
I'm
call
able,
it beginner's luck, but I don't think it's beginner's luck. I think it's exactly what we're
yeah,
talking about.
it's like now I thought I leveled up because I discovered CalMag and that, it's necessary to support your plants for proper fruit production and for, good flavor and
Yeah,
such. And I started using it and I actually was for the longest time mixing it into my nutrients and pouring that into my reservoir all at the same time. And then I had
yeah,
several people message me and say, that is the perfect recipe to create nutrient lockout. You can't do that. You have to add in calcium first and then add in anything else.
yeah,
You can't, if you add in the calcium first, it's going to prevent your plants from uptaking anything at all. So
right.
that is a perfect example of how I've complicated things. But now that I've learned that, hopefully I can wrap my head around the whole nutrient learning curve.
Yeah,
It takes time.
yeah.
You're
Oh,
simulating
yes.
the environment, right? And some like I definitely don't have it down pat, that's for sure. I'm always trying to figure out my levels and what it all means.
I don't think any of us have it down pat. Like,
I don't
I've had
think
people
you,
say, like, have you ever had a perfect grow before? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely never, and probably never will I. The minute you start thinking it's going to be perfect is when disaster happens and everything goes wrong.
Yeah.
and
I've
there's
had that
so
happen a
much
few
to
times.
learn that you can't learn it all. Like, I think it takes over a lifetime to learn everything, and everything's constantly changing. There's always new things added, new research coming out.
But that's what I love about it. That's the fun
Yeah,
part. The learning never ends, and that's why I always say, like, by no means am I ever trying to preach on how to grow. It's whatever works for you, right? And trial and
Yes,
error.
exactly.
exactly.
It's all learning, and it never stops. And if you feel like you've learned it all, then you've got a problem. you know I
Exactly.
always
You might as well just stop right now. If you've learned everything, it's over.
100%.
Yep.
I even encourage people on my lives, like, please criticize, what politely, but criticize
Yeah,
and give me your tips. Like, we're all here
Yep.
to learn from each other and exchange information. So,
yeah,
I think it's cool to share for sure.
absolutely. Yeah, on Friday
Um,
nights we do a show your grow show. So we have people from the community that come on every Friday night, and anybody. It can be anybody in the chat. They click the link, they come on, they tell us, what they're doing, they show us their gardens and all
That's
that fun
awesome.
stuff. But the amount of stuff that I have learned from the people here in the chat coming on and showing us their gardens and teaching us about their nutrients and their training methods and their whatever it is they're doing. Um, like I've learned more from the Gromies in the chat than I have from any YouTube video, any Instagram video, from all of that.
Oh my gosh, me too.
So
I always
yeah,
say the community is my biggest resource.
yeah,
Like,
yes.
I wouldn't learn half of what I learned if it weren't for everybody in the community and everybody watching. It's so awesome. I love
yeah.
it. It's really cool
Have you
community.
So,
ever
er,
have you ever seen Alma's garden?
Alma's
Do
garden.
you follow Alma's garden?
No, no.
You sh- you, you
Take a
definitely should. She's an Oklahoma based outdoor grower, but she does all like vegetables and flowers and
Cool.
she came on the show a long, long time ago, and she's probably one of the sweetest people ever. And she's always going on about like all her different, like she's got so much going on. So I think
Yeah,
you'd probably like her stuff.
Get along, yeah.
I'm always
Yeah,
looking for people to connect with, or even just to admire their journey from afar, right? See what I can learn.
yeah, yeah.
So
She's got some cool stuff going on over there.
you had mentioned earlier that you had brought in some strawberries from outside. Do you grow outside as well, or just strictly indoor?
I do. So now that I have the tent, we no longer grow food outside. I've grown like tomatoes in soil and, cucumbers outside and small little things in pots. But now that there's the tent, there's no food outside. I just grow flowers outside. I grow a cut flower garden every summer, and they're just
Nice.
cut and come again flowers. So you can cut them for
Yeah,
bouquets and whatnot. And I just
nice.
share them with, friends, family, neighbors. It's fun.
That's
I,
Nice.
awesome.
and it's good for the pollinators. It attracts them. So
Yeah.
Exactly.
Do you look for specific ones that bring in like different bees and stuff like that?
no, but maybe
Yeah.
eventually I will. I'll definitely expand the outdoor garden, and I'll probably end up doing some raised beds and growing food. I definitely want to also do experiments, what grows better outdoor in soil versus in the aeroponic system. I
Yeah.
really just want to kind of explore it all and compare. So I will be doing much more outside for sure in the future. Maybe there'll be
Nice.
like a greenhouse in my future. I don't know. We'll
That'd
see.
be cool.
That would be
As I
cool.
say,
Yeah.
you could even do the Andrew Heckman and try to grow aeroponic outdoors.
Yes, totally. Well, the towers, I was thinking about throwing one outside this summer because they are rated for outdoor. The lights
Okay.
just pop off. So I thought maybe I should do like strawberries or something outdoor and just kind of set it and forget it type of deal and see what
Yeah.
happens, and then I don't need to worry about pollinating or anything. Kind of takes care of itself. So.
Yeah.
Do you have
That'd
problems
be cool to see too.
with animals outside? Because I've tried strawberry outside so many times, but the squirrels keep taking it. Like they're just about to say going to that nice red, and they take it.
It's like a chicken wire or something. And even that, honestly, these squirrels, birds, whatever, they find their way. Last summer, I had my flowers. I'd come into my garden and my flowers were decapitated in the morning. I'm like,
Yeah.
how does that happen? So I don't know if it was a bird landing on it, but you get it with even non-food plants. So chicken
Yeah.
wire, I guess, is the best suggestion I have. But that's why I
Yeah.
love the indoor garden. It's so awesome to have, flawless plants if you can keep it that way, obviously. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
out
The only
besides,
thing you got to worry about is yourself getting in there. Like sometimes when I'm reaching into the tent or something, like you probably don't have that issue because your tent is bigger than the room I'm in right now. But um, reaching into my tent sometimes, I'm trying to get to the back plants and I snap a branch off something or whatever. I do
even
that not
even
often,
the
but
size of my
often enough.
even with the size of my tent, I'm what like if you watch my lives, I'm the clumsiest person you'll ever meet. So I still find a way to break plants or break branches. I just did it last week. I was on a live and I was showing off my tomato plants and I snapped. Well, it was a big tomato plant and I snapped the whole thing. It was just complete.
Oh no.
But we propagated it and it's good. Now we got
Yeah,
three new plants, but it's just,
yeah,
Nice.
it happens to the best of us.
yeah.
So don't worry about it.
It happens. I know. Um, so I also noticed too when you have the little seedlings in your sponge, you're actually opening up those sponges and taking them out with tweezers and carefully like removing the roots from inside the sponge.
Talk about overcomplicating.
It's like watching like ER or something. Like you're watching somebody perform surgery. It's crazy.
Honestly, it's so fun. I love doing it, but the reason why I do it is because I want the roots to be bare. I've had them grow. So I put the sponges before in the net pot and then covered it with a bit of hydroclay. And no matter
Yeah,
what, the sponge gets saturated in algae, and even if there's no light coming through, somehow it just gets really gross with the sponge. It retains
Yeah,
almost too much moisture, because especially in the tower's trickling water 24/7. And so I decided to take the approach of removing it from the sponge and just either getting it straight up in hydroclay or in the foam color with nothing else. And so yeah, that's
that's
what I mean by,
crazy.
yes, I do overcomplicate stuff, because people watch and they're like, "What the heck is she doing?" But I'm like, I
I
swear.
was one the first time I saw you doing that, I was like stressed out for you. I was like, oh my God, what is happening right now?
You know what? It works, because then I have better roots. I've had it like, I don't know
Yeah,
why I have root rot when I use those sponges. So I gotta find. I'm gonna start using the easy plugs. They're like Coco Core seed starting
yeah.
plugs. And
Yep.
I'm going to try my hand at those, and just once the seed sprouts, or maybe even germinate the seed in there and just throw it in the tower and just not.
Yeah, I've seen people use them for germination as well.
Yeah, so, well,
Do a
that's what
couple of
I'm
them and just
for.
see how they turn out. Like, they
Yeah,
may end up going algae as well. So you never know
it's true. My goal
till
is
you
to
try it.
figure out a method where I could just pop the seed in the tower, and then that's it. Like, it germinates, sprouts, and grows in there, and then I don't have to
Yeah,
do anything else. So that's eventually what I'm working towards. But right
yeah.
now, overcomplication it is.
It's this is the theme of the show.
It's okay. But
That's
you
funny.
know what? That's how I learn. I learn about all
Absolutely.
like how roots are, and I get to take a closer look at all the different seedlings, and you get
Yeah.
more connected to the plant that way. So whatever.
That's one reason why I want to try hydroponics or aeroponics is because I love when people come on the show on Fridays and they lift up the lids and it's
The
just nothing
roots.
but roots. It's
Oh
like,
my
oh my
gosh,
God, that's
it's the
it's so
best.
different than what I have. You know
It
what I mean? Like I
is.
gotta like wait until my plants are done and then peel the pots off and then I can see the roots. But until then, I can't see them.
Well, you know what? As a beginner grower, because that's absolutely what I am. I'm totally new at this stuff, and being able to see the roots and see what goes on underneath and the effects of the different actions that you take is actually makes for quicker learning, I find, because now I have a better
Yeah,
understanding of what happens when things are in soil, right? And why
Yeah.
yeah,
soil is more of a simple method, because everything is built in already for you, if you have all the
yeah,
proper amendments, of course. But
yeah.
it's a whole different
I
ball.
yeah, I don't know. Water scares me for some reason. I don't know. Um,
Everything is intimidating. You just have to, you just go for it.
well, it's like you said too, like you grow in water, so looking at growing in soil, you're thinking it's going to be a lot more complicated. So I mean, it really doesn't matter what you do. Anything that you knew that you're going to try is going to be
Scary.
complicated and scary at first.
It
So
always is. Yeah, it's always scary to try something new, but you just got to go for it. Sometimes you
yeah,
don't know unless you try. And if you let intimidation stop you, then, like, if I let intimidation stop me, I'd be still eating crappy tomatoes. So
that's very true. That's very true.
yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
But
So
yeah,
I'd like to try
how do those,
water.
yeah,
Less
yeah,
messy. I'm a
I'm going
klutz,
to
like you
at some
said,
point.
so I'm always spilling dirt everywhere, and it's always like I could clean it 100 times, and I'm thinking water would be the best way in that case.
yeah,
It's
I mean,
not as messy, I would think.
it has its own challenges, right? Like, you gotta, for example, the tower, the cleanup, it's not a glamorous cleanup. You have to scrub it down, and I
Yeah,
treat it the same as you would with a cannabis garden. Like, once you're done your run, you reset your tent, right? So
yeah,
it's
Yeah.
still a chore, and you still have to clean up, but it's different than soil. Now I have soil in the grow tent, and I don't even touch it, and somehow I have soil all over the floor. So
Yeah, exactly.
I know what you mean.
yeah. How do those towers work? Like, are they full of water or do they spray?
Yeah, so they've got the reservoir at the bottom, which is the black base of the tower, and then the pump sits in the bottom, and then there's a hose that flows to an irrigation pipe at the top of the tower, and then water just kind of flows out of little holes in the irrigation pipe, and it just trickles down
Oh,
all the walls, the inner walls of the tower. So the buckets that I use
that's
are
cool.
more of a misting, whereas this is more of a trickle. But yeah, it's cool because they get a lot of oxygen. And then,
Yeah,
you know, the tower has these little cups under every plant port where if for whatever reason the water stops running, they have a little tiny reservoir of water. So it's pretty
cool.
cool, and it honestly makes
Yeah.
growing look so easy because stuff just explodes once you start growing in there. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's like where was it? I saw it. Smokey says hydroponics plants grow so fast, and it's so true. Like I watch people growing hydroponics, like I've grown plants not with, but like at the same time as somebody else starting them. And they're on hydroponics and I'm on Promix, and like my plants are this big and their plants are this big already. It's crazy to see
It's
how rapid the growth is. Like it's
it's so crazy. I
incredible.
have my flower garden that I started last year. I started the seedlings in soil or the seeds in soil, and from the time I put it in the ground to the time it was actually starting or about to flower was maybe like 8 weeks. Now I'm 4.5 or 5 weeks in the buckets, and I've already got
Crazy.
flowers starting. So I'm 3 weeks ahead of the game. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. So it's kind of
Yeah,
an
that's cool.
example of how quickly things get expedited. So
Yeah.
it's
Have you
pretty.
ever thought about have you ever thought about growing cannabis?
I have, yeah. I
Yeah.
definitely been intimidated. I know there's a little bit to it. I have a few people that I know personally that grow, and they're, you know, willing to give me a hand and just kind of walk me through the steps. But first, I'm trying to master the whole food aspect of it all. You know, I'm on a mission
Yeah.
Yeah.
to kind of grow my own and be sustainable with that. So continuously have a supply. And once I master that, then I definitely want to explore the cannabis side of things, you know, and not
That'd
even
be
just
cool.
cannabis, but other medicinal plants. Like I was considering just doing a whole medicinal tower full of
That would
just
That would
be,
be pretty
all
cool.
things, you know, and
yeah.
get into herbal stuff and, you know, see what I can
Yeah.
come up with, like lemongrass or lavender,
Yeah.
St.
Make
John.
all your own essential oils and all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And
Candles, like all it
yeah,
so many more possibilities open up as you start kind of getting farther into your grow. Once you
totally.
start learning about like what you were just talking about, there's so many things you can make with that, and it's just
Yeah,
it's pretty
that's what
crazy.
I say on my lives is if there's something you guys want to see me grow, just let me know. Like I'll get the seeds and I'm gonna grow it. Like I've got the space to do it, I've got the systems to do it. Let's just have
Yeah.
fun and let's just experiment.
Yeah.
Like it's just, you know, try whatever. And if it doesn't work, then I know it doesn't work.
Yeah, that's cool actually. And it's neat too because then it's kind of like you're engaging with the people there. Like now they feel more connected because I told her to grow that and now she is, you know. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, like the other day, we germinated 40-year-old sugar snap peas, like sugar snap peas from the 90s, you guys. They came in like a box. Like they don't even come,
Wow.
seeds come in boxes anymore. But anyway, so yeah, you know, we tried to germinate them. I pulled the audience, like, you know, how long should I soak them? What do you guys want me to soak them in? How much water
Yeah,
should I use? And everyone made the decisions for me. And we just kind of did the experiment. It didn't
that's
work,
cool.
but yeah, time to get some new sugar snap pea seeds.
Do you still have some of the 40-year-old ones?
I do, yeah, I have a bunch of them.
Because if you do end up getting one of those cans, that's a perfect experiment because I had old cannabis seeds that I couldn't germinate.
Oh,
And
cool.
I put them in that thing and they germinated. So
How old were they?
not 40, that's for sure. But they're probably like I don't know, 5 to 10 years old or something like that, but I couldn't get them to germinate in water, paper towel, direct
Yeah.
sow. It just any way I tried, it just wouldn't do it. As soon as I put them in that thing, they germinated.
Wow. Yeah,
And
that's
even
really cool. I'm gonna have
he
to
even
try
reached out to me. He's like, "Come on, man, you got to give me a chance with this thing. Don't be doing seeds like that."
it. Oh
And
my
I
god.
was like, "No, no, no, they're working." He's like, "Oh, then keep doing them."
Wow.
But
I'll have to
it was
try.
like one of the first seeds I did with that thing, and they popped, and I couldn't believe it. So
Very cool. Yeah, I'm gonna have to
yeah,
try
it's
that.
pretty cool.
Especially with those older seeds, it did not work. They just completely decomposed. Today we looked at it and they were like just turned to mush. So, uh,
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know.
yeah,
But time to get some new seeds.
absolutely, absolutely. But we've come up to we got 5 minutes left. Do you want to let everybody know where they can find you, all
Yeah.
your social medias, websites, all of that stuff?
Yeah, as you guys know, you can come check me out on YouTube. I go live every day at 12 p.m. Eastern. It's at the Fresh Princess. On Instagram, I'm at the Fresh Princess underscore. And you can check out my website, www.thefreshprincess.ca. Got a blog up there. We've got a forum coming soon where you guys can chat and get different info and advice on all things
Nice.
gardening. And that's it. I just share everything with you guys. So come check me out on one of the
Nice.
platforms.
And then every Thursday, correct? You
Yeah.
and Andrew Heckman go live?
Yes, every Thursday I go live with Andrew. We started off on Instagram, but I think we've moved it over to YouTube now because YouTube is
Yeah,
where it's at. So come check
for
Yes,
it
for
sure.
out
sure.
7:30 p.m. Eastern on Thursday.
Perfect.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah, we had him on a couple weeks ago actually, so that was a pretty
Yeah,
cool
We
episode.
did.
yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah.
So
I
yes,
had so much fun with you guys. Thank you so much. This was really cool. It was so great getting to know you guys and chatting.
yeah, you too. Thank you
Anytime.
for taking the time out of your evening to come on and share
Yes.
your experiences with us because we all grow cannabis, but there's a lot of people in the chat, and myself included, that have all grown vegetables outside, and some of them do it in their tents as well. So I mean, it's all transferable.
Yeah,
It
it's
all
all
relates.
relevant at the end of the day, right? Plants are
Yeah,
plants, the fundamentals are the same. So whether you grow cannabis
exactly.
or
Exactly.
food, growing
Yeah,
is growing, and this it's the same attitude that you have to have regardless. So,
exactly.
you know,
100%. But yeah,
cool. Well,
thank you
this
very
is
much for
awesome.
coming on, and
Likewise.
yeah,
You guys are awesome. I
Yeah,
really
if you
appreciate this. We had fun.
yeah, it was
we
good.
did. If you
A lot of
can
fun.
one Friday, you'll have to come on and show your garden.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh,
Mhm.
I love that. I
We
got a
would love
lot
to
to
see a
show off.
tour.
So you don't have to ask
That's
me much.
okay.
Yeah, we just on every Friday, same time, same exact place. People from the community, they come on 10, 15 minutes kind of thing. Just kind
Cool.
of run us through their setups and their plants and their different grows and
I'm
different
gonna tune
styles. And
I'm gonna tune in
yeah,
this Friday and come hang out in the chat.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
that'd
lot
be
of fun.
great.
Everybody was welcoming you to the community. So
I know you guys are
Yes.
awesome. Thanks to everybody that's watching too. I appreciate all of you. It's really fun to be a part of such an awesome community.
yes,
Yes.
absolutely. But thank you very much for coming on. And until Friday, you have yourself a great rest of your week.
Yeah, thank you so much,
Yes.
guys. Have a great night. Take care.
Yeah,
You as
you too.
well.
All right, bye, guys.
See ya.
Night. What a great guest. I learned so much. I'm
Yeah, that was
so
a lot of fun.
excited to I've seen her garden and oh my God, if you guys haven't checked it out, you definitely have to go on her YouTube and watch her lives back because that setup is just wow.
Pretty
She's like
badass.
the Lowe's grows but of vegetables.
Yes, absolutely, exactly. And in one giant tent instead of like 5 tents or however many we
Yes.
had. But yeah, and
Yes.
the colors in the tent, her towers are all different colors, so it's pretty cool.
That is.
Pretty cool. But I'm
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. When I was watching her transplant those little seedlings, I was getting stressed out for her watching that. You remember when you had to
Oh
transplant your little seedling when two popped up in that one pot and you had to
my God,
dig that
yes.
one out and separate it? She does like hundreds of those things
Oh my
out of a
goodness.
sponge. It's crazy. So
No. Yeah.
yeah,
So,
it's pretty cool.
great episode. Next week, who do we have? Next week we have Soul Brother. So that's gonna
Ooh,
be
brother.
a good episode as well. So stay tuned for that one. Again,
Mhm.
Friday night is our Show Your Grow. So if you want to come on and show your gardens, whether it's vegetables or flowers or cannabis, you're more than welcome. Um, if you are not in a legal state or if you just don't want to show your face, you don't have to show your face as long as you have plants or something, anyways.
Well, not anything. I mean,
Well, yeah,
don't be so
within
vague.
reason.
Yeah, there's
But
certain
yeah,
things we don't want to see on the show. That's for sure. But
there has to be something growing.
again, careful what you ask for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's happened in the past. Not on our show, but on others. So
Yes.
no, thank
So
you.
yeah, I
No,
hope you
thank you.
guys enjoyed this episode, and I think that's it. I think we will see you Friday.
Same time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come show your girl. Peace.
Have a great night.